This is going to be a very brief, very slight Super Mario Bros. Movie review, alright? And the reason I'm doing this is not because I cover movies or I do reviews, which I don't. I don't do any of that type of stuff. But there's three primary reasons, okay? The first one is I love cinema. I'm a huge fan of cinema. I love animation. I love all types of films. It's just something that is close to me and something that means a lot. The second reason, well, I'm a gamer. I play a lot of games, and Super Mario 64 is probably my favorite video game of all time. So, on top of that, I've played ridiculous amounts of Mario Kart and all the other Mario games, Sunshine, Odyssey, Super Mario World, the original Mario games on the NES and the SNES, Mario Party, all the Donkey Kong games, Luigi's Mansion, Super Peach, which I think that's what that game's called. The game's pretty cool. All the Mario Golf games. I'm deep into the Mario world, right? And the third reason that I wanted to talk about it is basically just in case someone stumbles upon this video. If you are not sure about seeing this movie, if you're not sure you want to see it, or you're not sure you want to take your kids to it, whatever it might be, maybe this video will help you out a little bit. So I'm going to keep it very brief. I'm going to try not to go too spoilery, although there's not really any spoilers to be had in this movie, let's be real, except for the end credit scenes, which there are two of. There's one during and then there's one after. Okay, so here's my very brief review. You ready? I really enjoyed this movie. That's pretty much it. I like this movie a lot. It's very family friendly, obviously, despite the fact that they do mention death a lot. There's a lot of, you're gonna die, I'm gonna kill you, that kind of thing. So if you're sensitive to that, like with your children or whatever, that makes sense. That would be fair. Maybe don't bring them to this movie until you think they're of the right age. Other than that, though, it's very family friendly. It's very light, very fluffy, extremely fast paced. If I had any complaints, which I do, I actually have three primary complaints, which I'm going to point out right now, but then I'm going to defend right after. I think they all make perfect sense for this movie, even if I don't really love them all. So let me just break those three down. My first complaint is that this movie is extremely fast paced. There's no slow down time. There's zero breaks, 1 to 100, and you're off until the credits roll. It just goes and goes, which means that there are really no restroom breaks. I know that a lot of people look at movie reviews or things like that to go and see where the restroom break could be, just in case they might need to go. And especially if you have, kids or something, and they can't hold their bladders very well, so they're gonna want to go to the bathroom. I mean, it happens, so there really aren't any. And if you're worried about that, if you're a hardcore Mario fan with a really weak bladder and you want to watch this movie, I'd say maybe just wait until it comes out on digital. I don't know. Second complaint is that my favorite character, that character being Luigi. I love Luigi. He's easily my favorite Mario character, and he's not really even in this movie. He's there, like his presence is felt, but that's kind of all he is. He's a plot point. He's not really a character who's in the movie. So, but I believe, again, reason for that, so I'll go into that. And the third main complaint is that there's really no story to this movie. There's like hardly any story at all. That's pretty much it. Like it's very brief, it's very light. The story is there, but it's loose. It's like, we gotta do this so that we can do that. That's pretty much it. But I think there are reasons for all of these issues that I have with the movie. So the first one being extremely fast paced. Dude, it's a Mario movie. That's what Mario games are all about. Fast paced. You figure out the flow of the gameplay, and once you understand it to a certain level, nothing could stop you. You know exactly where all the jumps are, where all the right points are, you know which warp pipes to go into, you know all that. Like, the shortcuts. That's the point. That's what this movie feels like a speed run. Like it's a movie, but it's a speed run, like they had some stuff to cover, but they had to get in there, like they had to get it done. It's breakneck speed, and it's a game movie, and I feel like that's what certain types of movies that are based on certain types of video games should be doing. So it felt right, like more or less. I think the movie could have benefited from maybe an extra 10-15 minutes, but not really. It's a super nitpick at that point. The second one, with Luigi not being in it. Luigi had my favorite section of this movie, which was at the very beginning when they first go into the warp pipe and they get separated and all that. Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom and Luigi ends up in the, what do they call it? The Shadowlands? I don't fully remember what they called it, but he's over there and that's my favorite section of the whole movie, because he's in this dark, scary, spooky area. He has to deal with some dry bones. He runs away and it's all spooky and dark, and that's my favorite because it's very reminiscent of the Luigi's Mansion games, which are fantastic, by the way. He ends up at one point like in a mansion, and it's this whole thing, you know, it's very referential to his games. And I think the reason for that is because they are kind of testing the waters there to see if maybe they could make a Luigi's Mansion movie, which would be fantastic probably. So I think, like, I complain about it because I love Luigi and I want Luigi to be in the movie more, but I understand why he's not, because they probably are thinking about this from a business standpoint, which is like, we could make a bunch of Luigi's Mansion movies. Why wouldn't we do that? That's perfectly fine. Makes sense. On to the third complaint, which was there's like no story. I mean, it's very brief, very simplistic. That's perfectly fine, because once again, it's a Mario movie. I don't think anyone plays any Mario game for the story. You play for the visuals, you play for the gameplay, for the characters. That's what you're here for. You're not really looking for a story when you play a Mario game. I mean, I don't think hardly anyone ever is. This is one of the rare cases that I think going extremely simplistic with the story was the right call. So yeah, that's my very brief review of this movie. I recommend it, and I don't know, if I was scoring it, I'd give it probably like a 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. If you're a gamer, you should go see it. Like, especially if you're a Mario gamer, obviously you're gonna want to go see it. But if you're just a video game person in general, and you know a bit about Mario and all that kind of stuff, like, you don't have to have played all the games, you know, like, even if maybe you're not like a hardcore Nintendo person, you probably enjoy the movie. And I'm saying we need to support this movie so that Nintendo can finally make a Metroid movie, because that would be fantastic. Metroid and Star Fox, that's the two movies I want to see. Legend of Zelda, another Mario movie, of course Luigi's Mansion, I would love to see as well, but Metroid or Metroid Prime and Star Fox, those would be sick movies, man. Okay, so highly recommend it. If you're not a gamer, but you like animation and you want to check out a fun movie, then you should go see it. If you're a parent who has kids with very low attention spans, but they like fun, flashy, animated movies, you should go see it. I don't think there's really a reason you shouldn't go see this movie, except for maybe if you just like absolutely despise Mario and Nintendo. Just understand what you're going in for, you know? Go into the movie knowing that you're not gonna get a crazy story, you're not gonna get this really epic, intense, layered story. Curb your expectations, know what you're going to see, and you'll probably have a good time. Thanks for watching my video. I know it's kind of all over the place. I don't do reviews, so that's my bad. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, which will not be anything like this. So I hope you're taking care of yourself, be kind to one another, and I will see you in the next video.